That's not how the Force works.
I don't care!
Put a chicken in and make her name it gay!
Yeah, I think I remember seeing the movie. There's one scene that sticks out, and it probably sticks out for everybody, which is that, have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. Hello, everyone. Whoa, my camera seems so low. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Casual Rage. Now it seems too high. And Shonky, we'll fix it in a second, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. And this week, we don't actually have that much Star Wars to talk about because there's no Star Wars news to talk about, which is a bit of an unfortunate thing, really. The decline of Star Wars is so very sad. Isn't it? Kind of put me off, that whole camera thing. Does it seem crooked to you? Man, I don't know what. Maybe. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Now, with that horrible start, yeah, like I was saying, there's not really, and there hasn't been for a couple of weeks. We talk about it nearly every time we jump into the stream. We say hello, and we basically say, we're going to talk about some Star Wars stuff, but there's not really a lot to talk about. They keep recycling, again, the same topics. And I think because there's so little to talk about when it comes to Star Wars, we are going to talk about some other stuff, but also, too, I think we're going to just chill and maybe watch a video or two. So yeah, it might be a little bit more chill tonight. It might be a little bit more of a hangout. Yeah, sorry, my shit's gone. Man, this has been a horrible start. Let's say hello to the chat. That's something easy that we can actually get through, right? Let's see who we got here. We've got New York, Florida man. Says actual fandom's live stream last night. He talked some serious shit about you at the same time as virtue signaling to his trans guest while calling you raging homo. I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who that is, and follows up with obviously timestamps in here. They really started talking big time shit about you. They tried to spin the whole narrative of the Sawyerism thing to make you look like you committed homophobic hate crime. Are they still going on about this? It was such a nothing burger. I honestly wish I had recorded the interaction, the initial interaction, or the only interaction, because there was really nothing to it. And the fact that I didn't record, like, I didn't want any attention out of this. I saw her and thought, I'm just going to say, good job trying to cancel YouTubers, loser. And that was the extent of it. Oh my God. And they're still going on about it. Let them cry. Let them cry. Is that what that's about? I thought it might have been something to do with like my actual take on something. God, that was such a nothing burger. You know what's really funny is for the rest of the con, you know why it ruined it for her? For the rest of the con, she was looking for me to get me kicked out, get me cancelled. And then she could use that. She'd record it. Thing was, we didn't go back after that day. We went and did other shit. Anyway, good to see you, New York, Florida man. We got Lara A in the chat. How you doing, Lara? Good to see you. Star Wars Marvel purist, force choke that like blah. You know what I'm saying. Stumble on my words everywhere. SWA's here. How you doing, dude? We got the nuisance bird. Caw. G'day, fuck you, Shill. Or Shills, sorry. I thought you were talking to me. Tillium's here. How you doing? Jordan Star Wars. Good to see you too. We got Papa Palpatine's Pizza Padawan. Mike Hill. How you doing, Mike? Good to see you. DJ Nuisance. I always start reading it as like a name and then I'm not too sure. Insert username. How you doing? Hail to you. Jace is here. How you doing there, Jace? Good to see you, brother. JG Superman made by JG. James Gunn's Superman made by James Gunn. Yeah, you know, I was actually thinking, and I don't know if I said this last week when we were watching the thing. Sorry, in other news, water, wet. Yes. I was thinking about this, and I'm like, the teeth hitting the camera is James Gunn literally inserting himself in the movie. Like, you know who's on the other side of that camera, don't you? It's James Gunn. It's so funny that the only really bad things that Superman's got going for it, I feel, is the whole James Gunn stuff. But then there's also sort of the way that it looks. People have been talking about the CGI. None of the actors or anything, there's been none of that woke promotion. You know, I got something in my eye now. There's none of that woke promotion going on. You know, where you see like an actor come out and talk about how important it is to have this type of representation in this kind of movie, or, you know, that kind of thing. The only things that people are like criticizing about the Superman stuff is literally James Gunn, the way that it looks, and people are very weary of the story that they're going to tell here. So that's going to be an interesting one, as opposed to like the Fantastic Four, where, you know, female Silver Surfer. It's going to be led by Sue Storm. The only really good looking thing, and it probably looks better than what we've been seeing in Superman, is whatever we've seen from Galactus. People have talked and criticized how the female Silver Surfer actually looks, how bad that actually looks. So you look at the amount of criticisms for both of these things, and oh man, I think they're both going to die in the arse. I think they're going to have both of them will have big openings, And I'm not usually one to get into like box office talk or how these things are going to track or anything like that. But this one's been interesting for me because they're a month apart in release, something like that. Fantastic Four came out and tried to start selling tickets early. Nutrium's here. We got Jedi Riftstar. How you doing, Riff Magos? Good to see you. Saw, I see you. I'm just scrolling through now. I just need to catch up. Gabriel Knight, it's been a horrible start to this stream and I feel terrible. GT Weber, good to see you. Ultimate Rockman X. Borg Porg. Firafema. Mr. Bantham. POM or is it? Or POM? I could be. Isn't Lois Lane, in this movie giving Superman a tough talking to, though? Man, we're going to watch that sneak peek. And while we're talking about Superman, we may as well watch it because it was going to be the second thing. I just think, again, with both of these two movies, the way that we've been seeing them being promoted, essentially the downfall of both of these franchises, really, when it comes down to it. Both Marvel and DC have not really had much of at least in what's I'm trying to think. They have their little diamonds in the rough with, it's hard to actually pinpoint for Marvel because they've had a couple of little things in there, right? Brandon Day, I see you too. Let's see. Rest in peace, Stargate. Never. Are they rebooting that? Are they bringing that back? I have heard little things like rumors I haven't really paid much attention to. Oh, Melissa. I never miss Melissa. As soon as I would have seen you, I would have mentioned it. I just scrolled through. There you are. Look. I'm sorry, Melissa. She's always here. Got to acknowledge her for sure. All right. Let's bring this up and we'll talk a bit more about Superman. Oh, Charles. All right, here we go.
You've gotten a lot of heat on social media lately.
I don't read that stuff. Superman doesn't have time for selfies.
Third person. You're referring to yourself in third person now?
No, it's just a thing I came up with that I thought I'd try to work into the next interview.
This is on the record, Superman.
Okay, well, not the part where I said that.
Yes, that part.
No, that part was an aside. That was off the record.
You have to say off the record beforehand, not after.
Why are you being like this?
It's fine. I won't write that you spend your spare time trying to think up sound bites, which are terrible. But you've got...
There's a couple of things, and I feel like, because I've heard Gary and a couple of other people obviously talk about this stuff already, and I kind of do feel the same way and parroting some of the things that they've said. You know, if you remember Christopher Reeve and his interaction with Lois on the balcony, you know, when she's basically interviewing him, and what that's kind of things like. Now, obviously, this is more established. She doesn't, you know, in those movies, they're new to each other, essentially, whereas in this, they're obviously together and in a relationship. Oh, man. I don't know. It just feels like there's so many things that I just...
Gotten a lot of heat on social media lately.
I don't read that stuff. Superman doesn't have time for selfies.
Like, I don't like that. I think what it is actually, because I just don't like the interaction, the conversation, or what's actually happening in the scene, then the way that they're talking to each other is like puts me off even more. And then it's just, I don't know. I honestly, I can't actually pinpoint what it is that makes me just irk in this scene. Is it talking about your third person now?
You're referring to yourself in third person now.
No, it's just a thing I came up with that I thought I'd try to work into the next interview.
This is on the record, Superman.
Okay, well, not the part where I said that.
Yeah, it's really, Superman doesn't have time for selfies. Well, kind of like if Superman was actually being Superman, then, and if it was in the modern era, then yeah, Superman kind of would have time for a selfie here and there with people. I would think. So even just him saying that, like that's not a Superman thing that he would be saying.
That.
Yes, that part.
No, that.
And now, don't get me wrong. I will never claim to be a massive Superman, DC, Batman, any of that stuff, massive lore expert or anything. But we all know Superman, right? I feel like when it comes down to the substance of what Superman represents and what he is and what he would and wouldn't do, we can all pretty much agree on a lot of things. I'm sure there are extreme circumstances where Superman wouldn't be necessarily Superman. But, yeah.
Part was
Maybe.
an aside. That was off the record.
You have to say off the record beforehand, not after.
Why are you being like this?
It's fine. I won't write that you spend your spare time trying to think up sound bites, which are terrible, by the way.
Even just that last bit. I will not write that you use your spare time thinking up sound bites. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how this is going to play out to like the modern audience. The Gen Zers and stuff like that. Do they even care about? Oh, they do. They care about infiltrating it and turning it into something that it's not. Isn't that sad? So yeah. Like nothing in this scene is like, on the levels of, there's nothing necessarily woke or anything in this scene, right? Now they could have done something with it. Imagine Lois just asking, so how do you feel about racism? Like, I'm just saying that's very extreme and so stupid. But it's just an uncomfortable scene to watch. I don't know. It's supposed to be played off as comedic to the audience, but also in a serious way to them just a bickering couple. That's what it's supposed to be played off as. A bickering couple that the audience would find humor in. But there's no humor there. Because everybody's not there to watch a modern couple bickering. They're there to watch Superman be Superman. And Clark be Clark. I don't know with this movie. I feel like, again, this it's going to depend on the word of mouth too. I just don't see it doing any good. I really don't. And then Fantastic Four right behind it. Let me check something here. Superman's supposed to be July 10th. and July 25th, is that? July 25th. So yeah, it's like 2 weeks. 2 weeks after Fantastic Four drops. So I think that Superman will do well opening week, and then it'll drop off, and the word of mouth is going to be actually really bad, and it's going to drop off. And then by the time Fantastic Four comes, Superman will be dead in the water. Oh, these are big claims. I don't know what I'm talking about too, by the way. It's just how I feel. Superman will be dead in the water, and Fantastic Four will have a decent opening weekend just because it is Fantastic Four, and then that'll die not long after that. When's Jurassic World due? Where's my new tab? What's it called? Rebirth. No, we want a release date. July 2nd. So that's like the following week. Wow. What a run. So by the time Jurassic World comes out, Star Wars, Superman will be completely done. Fantastic Four will have trickles after a week. I don't know. Don't listen to me when it comes to box office runs and projections and amounts. I know nothing when it comes to that. It's just how I feel, seeing how people are talking about it, seeing how, like, you know, all the streamers and all the YouTubers and stuff that I watch, they tend to have sort of similar concerns. Like, there could be some good stuff in all three of these movies. I don't think any of them, even Jurassic World, is going to be any good. The last one was the one that they brought back all the old cast, and it was nice to see all the old cast, but that was the only sort of good thing about the movie. And it was kind of a mirth thing because it was such a gimmick. It felt like such a gimmick. That's right. Fuck off, Disney, you fucking cunts.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt! You fucking cunt!
That's right. Jurassic World will make most money. I think so too. It would be great if they made a new story instead of rebooting old ones. Well, the thing is if you are, like, it depends on how you do it. Like, I'm sure by now everybody is just as sick of it as I am when we see Batman's origin story. And how this person decided to maybe do a little twist or a slight little change. No one ever really changes it massively if they do. Not that I can recall. But, like, I don't think we necessarily need to see that anymore. That's just how I feel. You know, these characters are well and truly established in the eyes of fans around the world. I don't think you necessarily need to give us establishing, you know, we all know that Superman was, you know, sent to Earth. Krypton was destroyed. Like, the basics, everybody knows it. We don't need to necessarily see it every single time. And sometimes you can still do it and it'd be really good. Like that opening to Man of Steel I like that. Krypton and all that stuff. I like that. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. It's not far away now. What are we? The 20th. The 20th of June. We are literally, 2 weeks away? No, 3 weeks away. It's the 10th, isn't it? 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away from it all starting. Hollywood practically remade every 80s film by now. There's still some that are still sacred, I think. Imagine if they remade like Big Trouble in Little China or something like that. Like that would be disastrous. But aren't they redoing something? Aren't they redoing the Goonies? And you're not wrong, Soul. You're really not. You are really not wrong. When is Ahsoka coming out? That's next year. I think that's after Mandalorian and Grogu, if I'm not mistaken. Next year for Star Wars is going to be interesting, to say the least. The most interesting thing is going to be seeing how Mandalorian and Grogu does in theaters. To me, that's probably the most interesting thing. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Ahsoka, because the one character that anybody had any interest in, the actual actor, has passed away. But recasting in that, or where they go with that, I feel like Hollywood now, especially like anything in the Disney camp, really has trouble continuing a story or adapting or moving forward after a incident happens where somebody passes away. The best example of that is obviously Black Panther and what they did with that yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Ahsoka, but I'm more interested to see what happens with the box office with Mandalorian and Grogu. I was talking about that with a mate at work the other day, actually, and it's like, we would, he's like, when's the next Star Wars thing coming? I'm like, really, it's Visions, but I'm like, Mandalorian and Grogu next year. It's like a movie that they're doing. He's like, what they're doing a Mandalorian movie? I'm like, yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu. They're calling it Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm like, think about the names. You've got Ahsoka. You've got the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. You've got the Book of Boba Fett. And then think about like real Star Wars, and you've got Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And if you want to add the name on, A New Hope, you got Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace. Like, think about the names and the titles. What a disaster. What a disaster. Anyway, we will wait and see in regards to what happens with Superman, with Fantastic Four. The lead up to Fantastic Four is going to be interesting while Superman's out. I'm actually kind of really interested. This is the most I think I've ever been interested to see what happens with runs, because they're sort of close together. They are competing against each other. You've got two superhero movies and a Jurassic Park movie. It's going to be really interesting to see how these three movies go, and they're all being released within a month. It's the most interesting part of this to me. And if there was one that I would go and see, see, I don't really care enough about Jurassic World or the Jurassic Park stuff. Like Jurassic Park, to me, like, I'm fine with watching any new Jurassic Park, at home. I think the way that, you know, home theater systems and stuff like that have been set up, like, you know, simple surround sound system, 75-inch TV, it's awesome enough. But that's what I do with Jurassic World. I probably like the thing that's turning me so far away from Fantastic Four is Pedro Pascal and just how much they wanted to go back and do that 60s sort of 70s style Fantastic Four. Do it as like, you know, a genre, do it as what am I talking about? A period piece. And then they just like they fuck everything else up around it. It's literally taking the stage of this this IP and then just changing everything inside it. It's so dumb. I don't understand the decision making. I really don't. We're this far into woke crap. We're this far into how people really are feeling about the entertainment that we're getting and the garbage entertainment that we're getting. and this is what they then give us. When did I could look it up. When did Fantastic Four start production? How long ago? Does anyone in the chat know? I could look it up. Have you thought about watching Lucas's other movies? I've watched. I feel like I've watched a lot of George Lucas's movies. Let me do it. Let's. 2 years, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. That's when I remember hearing about it. It's I kind of feel the same way too, but it really seems too short a time. Could they really make a Fantastic Four movie in 2 or 3 years? It seems like they can't make a fucking TV series with 8 episodes in it for 3 years these days. I've never seen Red Tails. I never really was sort of interested in it. I do like sort of war movies, and I do like, you know, plain war movies. But I never really had an interest in it. American Graffiti I've seen. Obviously seen all of Indiana Jones and Star Wars. Why? I'll have to go here. Oh my God. Does George Lucas still get... It seems that George... That's so disappointing. George Lucas still gets credits on like Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. That's so disappointing. It's probably written in the contract that he's always got to get credit for anything Star Wars. And that's why at the end of every Star Wars thing, it's based on based on, what do they write? Based on a universe created by George Lucas or something like that. I've seen a lot of George Lucas's stuff. Thing is if you've watched Star Wars and you've watched Indiana Jones, then you've watched most of George Lucas's stuff. All right, where are we going here? Let's see. I think Mike Hill sent me this. This is just... So, Andor creator Tony Gilroy on how he approached honoring versus retconning canon. I paid rigorous attention to the canon that I'm supposed to pay attention to. I've ignored the canon that I'm allowed to ignore. Okay, so they're really, once canon is established, first of all, there should be no canon that you are allowed to ignore. I think we can all agree that that is sort of how canon works, right? Canon establishes the universe, it establishes the rules in that universe, while the law kind of does that. But the canon is established and built on. And once it's created, you can't change it, because if you create it in this scene over here and it has this kind of effect and it does this thing, and then over here you change it and either it does something else or it doesn't do that anymore, it does something completely different, then you going back in time and looking at that scene again completely gets destroyed. And that's kind of the whole thing with, let's say, the Holdo maneuver, right? The biggest question was, why didn't they just do that to the Death Star? You know, why didn't they just use it as a weapon? They weren't smart enough because the purple dye wasn't getting into their brain. I don't know. I don't know. But there should be no canon that gets ignored. And the fact that you are saying that you actually paid attention and rigorous attention to the canon, I don't really see it. I don't really see it. I mean, we could talk surface level stuff like your aliens and droids and things like that. And I know as I'm saying that, you've got K2SO in the image, but it is one of the only droids that we see in this universe. And there's no aliens. Wouldn't it have been good if, let's say, that Force healer was an alien, just gives them the ability to speak basic, or maybe can't speak basic and has to try and communicate to Andor through feeling an emotion and signing sort of thing? I don't know. Wouldn't that just been a little bit more Star Wars? I don't know. The fact that we've got another Force healer, it could be a Jedi healer, who knows? But definitely was around for Order 66 with the age of this person. So the possibility of another Jedi survivor, that's not some law. That was canon that you were allowed to ignore, is it? That's how I see what you're saying here, Tony Gilroy. You know, and this is the other thing too, is like even throughout season 1, they couldn't even keep some of their own canon, their own continuity tracking from one thing to another. Is everyone in chat bots? No. Maybe most of them. I very much doubt it. No one would bother botting this channel, buddy. So anyway, that's like, I just don't like that, you know. And the fact that he's even stating that he's ignored canon, that I'm allowed to. Who gave you that permission? Was that Dave Filoni by chance? You know what I'm saying? Maybe Pablo Hidalgo, perhaps, that gave you permission to ignore canon. This doesn't look good for, you know, Because he is basically admitting that there is canon that he ignored. But he was allowed to. That's not good. Is Nolan going to kill you this week? I don't know. I haven't seen him come by today. But I definitely thanked him last week on Flashcast for the super chats that he sent here. We got pretty fucking wasted. I must admit, I am having fun, but the next day for me, because I've got to work the next day. You got to understand, Flashcast for me starts at 12:30 p.m. Sunday. So I'm getting drunk, let's say up until 4 o'clock, and then I stop drinking, and then I have a hangover, and I have a headache, and I sit on the couch for drink some water and eat some food, and then I start to kind of feel better. But then the next day at work, I'm starting to feel it. It's actually not good. Not good at all. But I'm having so much fun with it. It's been good. It has been good. Friday flash stream would be fun if you joined. He sends me the link, like that other stream that he does, that he sort of started doing, which is, Friday for him. It's Saturday for me. So, like, he would normally do maybe another stream, like, tomorrow, but I'm at work, hence why I'm not at work today. So for me, because we have to work Saturdays, because it is a busy day selling cars, people aren't working, or some people aren't working, and they come in and they can buy cars and stuff like that. So we have to work the Saturday, but we still only work 5 days a week. So I don't work Friday, and we're closed on Sunday, which is a little annoying because it's 4 days on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off, 4 days on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. That's my week. And not having those 2 days off in a row, you start to feel it after a while. Especially when you've been in this industry for 16 years and it's always been the same. I haven't always had the Friday. I usually try and, this is the thing, I would normally try and get the Wednesday or the Thursday off so that it sort of splits the week in half. So like, let's say you were to take the Wednesday off, right? You work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're working, Sunday off. So you're 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. And that's how that would go. It normally splits the week in half. That's better. The reason why I selected Fridays was because I'd already started doing Casual Rage on this day, and I didn't really want to change it. So I just kept this day. But it does fuck me around at work. Anyway, that's enough about my personal shit. I don't even know how I got into that. Oh, somebody asked. It was big phrase. I hope I said that right. Don't get me wrong. I see that we've got sort of a bigger crowd than usual. I am dyslexic and retarded. Let's not forget that I am retarded. But I am dyslexic, so sometimes I get really fucked up when I'm reading. So just be aware of that. It's embarrassing, but I just push through it. And I make fun of myself doing it. What else have we got to talk about? There's enough about Tony Gilroy. Andor, for all the positivity that it did have out there, people are now just waiting for the ratings. Obviously, the ratings stuff is skewed. Called Fraser. All right. Or Fraser. Gotcha. What was I saying? Yeah, the only thing that people are waiting for now is the ratings, the Nelson ratings and Nielsen ratings, however you call them. And they're skewed figures. 3 episodes a week for 4 weeks at basically, let's say, 2.5 hours an episode. A week. 2.5 hours an episode. 2.5 hours a week. Yeah, I know. People get me shit about how I said Boba Fett. Boba Fett. I did a Boba Fett video, and if you go to the comments, like people, Boba Fett. Nelson. Anyway, dude. All right, let me show. I'll actually show you guys this. This shopping center. So, okay. Butcher's asking, why did you drive a car through Northland Shopping Center? So, 2 days ago, somebody drove a car through Northland Shopping Center. Now, one of the thing is that there are cars that dealerships take to shopping centers, put on displays and promote their dealership that's near that shopping center. And, they pay the shopping center to display cars in there and stuff like that. So it was one of those cars, I believe, that got driven through. And that was 2 days ago. And then yesterday at Northland Shopping Center, it got completely evacuated because somebody lit a fire or something happened. I can't say somebody because I don't know exactly the details, but the place was burning and they got evacuated. So that's 2 days in a row that this place got evacuated. Believe it or not, this shopping center is a shopping center that our dealership, I was at this shopping center a week ago putting cars in there for our display. This shopping center is just around the corner from where my dealership is. This is in our PMA, in our area that we're promoting and stuff like that. And it is the craziest shit. The owner wants to take our cars out of there because he feels like there's fucking risk that they're going to get fucking destroyed and damaged. And I'm sure that they're going to be asking for a massive refund because it's not cheap to put these cars in there. Not cheap at all. To pay the shopping center to put cars in there, display them and stuff like that. Let me see if I can find it so that I can show you guys. Because it's crazy what's going on. Crazy. This isn't going to work. I don't know what's happened. When I search something on my computer on Twitter, it comes up. I'll show you. If I just even type in Superman, it's already there. Look at this. Make sure that I'm not sharing anything fucking I shouldn't be. So I go to search and just go, and that's all it does every time. It doesn't matter what I search for at the moment. It's so weird. So weird. So I'm going to search it on my phone and then basically just bookmark it and then I'll grab it. Oh, you know how I can get it really quickly? I sent it to my manager. Oh, no, I didn't. I sent him the fire. I'll show you that while I'm trying to find the other thing. So this was yesterday. Let me bookmark that. Look at this. So this was yesterday at Northland Shopping Center. I'm gonna find that other thing. All right, well, that's enough of the fucking sirens. So that was yesterday. Look at this, though. This is insane. Let me just stop sharing my screen really quickly. And then we'll get back to some actual sanity. Because this is... So believe it or not, like there's other stuff that I've actually missed in all of this. There was a machete attack. I think there's been 2 machete attacks there within the last as many months. I think the last 2 months. Here, let me bring this up. Like crazy, man. Absolute craziness. So this is Northland Shopping Center, I believe. I don't know. It doesn't specify exactly how long, but I remember this. It wasn't that long ago. I think this is one of the machete attacks. That's the fire. You see that shit? Look, and no one's evacuating. It's all about getting the footage. Like, get out of the building. That's, you know, the reason for the alarm. That's to tell you to evacuate the building. Or are they outside? Actually, maybe they are outside. It's just kind of with the smoke, it looks like they're... Oh, no, they're... Man, that's inside, right? That's definitely inside. But this was 2 days ago. Look at this. All at the same shopping center. And all in the last... And this is near where I work. I was the funny thing is I saw people in the chat saying, you know, what, driving through there. I was driving through there with a security guard in front of me, guiding me through to where I've got to put the cars on display. Like I said, like a week ago. I find it funny that people are saying, right, how dare you? Like, it obviously wasn't me, but wow. This is the kind of shit that's going on over here. And we've got our own immigration problems and, you know, crime and everything's up. Inflation, everything. And we just voted in, re-voted in the same guy to keep it fucking going. Man, I lost heaps of viewers because of that. Good cover story. Yeah, Melbourne is fucked. It really is. Oh, it's worse in Melbourne. It's really bad. It is really bad. Anyway, that's that. Well, let's stop talking about that shit. Let's talk a little bit about Arnold, shall we? Now, look, we're not political on this channel. It's very, very rare that we do get into politics and stuff like that. And obviously, the riots and everything have been pretty big over the last, I don't know, week or so. However long it's been since they started. I can't keep track of it all. But obviously, the view's retarded because this isn't the first time that this has happened, but they bring on a guest and they expect to ask this guest a really retarded question in the hope that he's going to answer it like they're in their gaslighting way, the way that they do it, right? Through lies and deceit and bullshit. And when the person starts talking some sense, they start to fucking freak out because it goes against the narrative and then they have to try and spin that. But I also want to point out that there's a couple of things in here. Now, I know that somebody like Arnold, when he's talking about this issue, he's got to be quite diplomatic in the way that he speaks because he doesn't want the people that are out there protesting, let's call it what it is, rioting. He doesn't want to go against them. He wants to support them. But at the same time, you can't deny the law, I guess. So, he tries to tread water is basically what I'm trying to say. And in that, there's a couple of things that I feel like he can't just blatantly come out and say. And I just want to point those things out. So if you didn't see, which I'm sure you did, and especially after, this to me is him going sort of against the grain of what he has been told or whatever. Because during the whole COVID, you remember, screw your freedom. I'll never forgive him for that, ever. It's funny, that moment, as just a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger and his movies and what he does, right? If, let's say, without the COVID stuff, when he passes away, I'd be very upset. I don't think I'd cry or anything like that, but I'd just be, upset. He lived a great life and everything. It'd be a sad moment to see, a great icon like him pass. Since COVID and everything that happened with that, when he does eventually go, it'll be like, all right, sad to see him go, but there's going to be nowhere near as much care from me because of that. And this is, to me, this is him trying to gain my trust back. No.
If you are an immigrant, you're an immigrant in this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing when you see the videos of it?
See, so straight out, that's a really retarded question. And you've got to expect that she was hoping in asking that question that he would answer it like he is a View host. How they talk about it and, how they talk about it just in general terms when they're just talking about it on a normal show. Let's say without a guest even there.
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was impressed by the American people like that. I mean, imagine they came over here.
Now, straight away, I kind of look at Joy there, and she sort of seems to be getting uncomfortable. And this is one thing that you also can't do, I believe, as a Democrat or somebody on the left, is praise America, right? America's supposed to be this all evil place, isn't it? Isn't that was my understanding of what we're supposed to think?
With the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that. Yeah. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created.
So you could almost say that Arnold is the spitting image of the American dream. It's interesting that he did that in such a horrible country.
All of this is...
And he's still got all the same privileges and benefits and freedoms and everything that he had when he was there, when he was 21 to when he is there now. I think, don't get me wrong, I don't know, what laws and everything have changed, but, nothing major has been taken away from this man in all of that time, even with dictator Trump. It's kind of weird.
It's because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity.
again, like when are we not? I don't think he got the memo that you're not supposed to talk. You're not supposed to praise America.
And I think because I'm such a proud American and a proud immigrant that came to America, I was asked to do on July 4th a big speech, the keynote speech at Mount Vernon, where George Washington was laid to rest, and where he lived and all that, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, the existence of America. And I will be doing the speech that they asked me because I'm an immigrant, and there will be 7,000 some people there.
It's so funny too. Like, you know, I don't watch The View, obviously, but like the things that I've seen, the clips, the sound bites, all of that stuff that I've seen from The View, like these people don't seem like proud Americans at all. For the last, I don't know how long, they've been talking about how bad America is. And, you know, I just don't understand.
And there will be people that will be sworn in and will become citizens that day.
That's great.
So it's really a great, great celebration. And this is what this is all about.
He hasn't really answered the question, though, has he? He's sort of deflected from the whole ICE question that she asked.
To celebrate people becoming Americans and coming to America and all that. And so I just think the world of the great kind of a history that we have with immigrants in America. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal.
Did you hear that? Who did that? Who had the gasp? There was a gasp in there. Did you hear that gasp?
America. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So
you heard that, right? I'm not hearing things. Unless somebody went to take a breath to try and say something.
Got to do things legal. And those people that are doing illegal things in America and they're the foreigners, they are not smart.
See, there, right there. If Obama was in the president right now, he would say they need to go. He said the illegal ones, they're not smart. What? Because they're not smart enough to, get false paper, like good papers. I don't understand what you're trying to say there, that they're not smart. They're very smart. They saw that the border was wide open and they just came on over. We're given possible housing, money. I don't know what else that these illegals were given, right? But to me, that's very smart on their behalf. He can't say it. He can't say it. He can't say that these illegal immigrants, they have broken the law, because I'm saying that if you come in and you do it all legal, then that's okay. If you're here illegally, you're not smart. That's not what you say there, Arnold. That isn't how a normal person's brain works, the thought process works, and the words that then come out of their mouths. You're treading water, and you're basically trying to still send the right message, but at the same time, you can't give Trump any credit, can you? You can't. Although, again, I don't know, I've seen that clip out there of somebody asking somebody, Obama got rid of 3 million or something illegal immigrants in the time that he was in office. And everybody was praising him and saying how, all the illegals need to go, all the illegals need to go. And now it's those people that were saying it back then, all the illegals need to go, that, let's get back some criminals. Let's, how dare you get rid of and extradite this gang member who's now a part of a terrorist group because we labeled them a terrorist. Like, how dare you bring them back to the country that they don't belong to? Like, how twisted does your brain need to be to come to those thoughts, to get to that conclusion? It's beyond me. And Arnold, you're a little bitch. You're still a little bitch, and you always have been a little bitch under the thumb of somebody else. You little fucking bitch. Can't even say the words that need to be said. The truth.
That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal.
You got to do
and
things
those people
legal.
that are doing illegal things in America,
You got to go.
The foreigners, they are not smart.
You got to go. No.
Because when you come to America,
Oh, dumb.
you're a guest.
And I heard that he was getting some shit for this line. You're a guest. Hey, when I was in America on a visa, I felt like a fucking guest. I know that I'm not from there. It was strange. It was weird being in a completely different country, even though it is a Western country. Like, what's wrong with anything that really he's said here? The only thing that I can see that I will give him criticism for is what I mentioned before. He still beats around his words because he can't make it seem like he's giving any credit to Trump or anyone like that, or ICE, for doing the right thing, for upholding the law of America.
You have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can to keep things clean and to make my bed and
the hand on the shoulder. You got to stop talking now, Arnold. You're getting old and senile.
to do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really...
See, and that's where he's sort of like, even committing a crime or being abusive or something like that, it's like the crime after the crime's already been committed. You can only extradite, you can only get extradite, I don't know, you can only kick out of your country, you can only get rid of the ones that come into your country illegally and then break the law in your country. Then you can maybe do something with them. But the breaking of the law of breaking into the country, it's not breaking the law. They just want a better life for themselves. They're helpful. Who's going to mow your lawns? Who's going to wash your dishes? Who's going to cook your food? Like, that's where the racism actually starts to come out of these people. They try and fight for their rights through racism, and they don't even see it.
Work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has.
And it's funny that he's saying this as well, going back to the opportunities. And, you know, he talked about him coming over and, you know, the American dream. He didn't specifically say that, but in basic terms. And then he goes sort of back to that. And like, from the outside looking in, and any other day when you're watching The View, we're supposed to believe that these people are living in the worst country in the world, the most racist, sexist, misogynistic, piece of shit country that has ever existed on this planet. That's what these people continue to try and push. And then Arnold comes in here and starts saying this and claps. Hey! They were getting claps for the other way around just yesterday.
In education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. You have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
Arnold, don't forget.
But the person doing the but has actually got nothing to say. That she's just trying to shut him up. What would happen if somebody else, say he turns to somebody else that's not doing the but because they start talking, right? But what would have happened if that person didn't have anything to say? The person that was doing the but would have been turned to and go, but like, oh, now your time to talk. You've got something to say. And they'd go, but. Oh, I can't remember, sorry. Or like in this sense, because they can't do the I forgot, sorry, they'll just, it'll be word salad that comes out of their face. I'm disgusted to the backlash that I've seen to this. As an Australian, I feel the same way about immigrants here and immigration here in Australia. Certainly don't have a problem with legal immigration. And it being done and watched over, by the powers that be to make sure that there's not a flood of people. We're not cramping people in to suburbs, and it just you get overflow, you get traffic, you get expense. It's the same is going on here. I mean, fuck. I think nearly every single one of those incidents that I showed you before at Northland Shopping Centre has something to do with an immigrant. Now, I don't know whether or not those people are legal or illegal. But even if they are legal and they're coming over here, revoke that visa and get rid of that person. What made you think that you could approve this person to come in the first place? Did you even track it? Did you even check it? Did you even vet it? Like, where's our due diligence? We're supposed to be Western countries. We're supposed to be better. And I'm not saying better than the people. We just got the technology, and everything that we've got is more advanced. We should be better at these things. Not because of the color of our skin makes us a better race or a better person. No. The way that we monitor this and the way that we work this stuff should be better than the rest of the world. At least better than the third world countries and things like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're smart and you're not retarded, you understand exactly what I'm saying. So, Arnold, are you still a fucking tool? Literally, you're actually a tool. You're a democratic left-wing tool. But you're also a fucking tool. And, for me, I'll never forgive you for the screw your freedom comments. But here you're making sense, and I do agree with most of everything that you're saying, despite the fact that you couldn't quite spit out the truth or the real thing that you wanted to say. You had to beat around the bush for your fucking retarded audience that even turned their back on you anyway. Turned your back on you anyway. Fucking stupid. I need a drink. I'm out and my mouth is so dry right now. We're going to do Seal of the Week. We've only got 3 nominees this week, and they're fairly simple. But then we're also going to watch a video that I saw. I am saving the like some of the behind the scenes stuff that we can sometimes watch. He went, like everybody did though. Everybody did. A lot of people during the COVID time, I don't know how some people in the chat feel or whatever, but during that whole COVID time and everything, if I took the vaccine, I would feel duped. And I'd like be wanting to know, like, what the fuck did you put in me? But it seems that despite the more truth that comes out, the more people that ended up getting it that didn't really want to get it, but just like bent the knee because they had to keep working or whatever the case may be, they seem to be in denial into wanting to know really what happened. It's actually crazy. The people that didn't get it want to know more than the people that did. Because the denial, because now I'm not saying everybody did, but there were a lot of people out there that shamed people for not doing it. Big time shaming. It was worldwide shaming. Hence why Gina Carano put out that post that it was about like dobbing in your neighbors. I don't see anything wrong with that. It seemed like that was happening on a global scale. Exactly what Gina Carano posted. It's interesting, isn't it? But yeah, we've got a Star Wars Theory video to watch. But before we do, I am going to go and get a drink and probably run to the bathroom really quickly too. So I'm going to play. We'll give you Gatekeepers Alliance. It's a good little trailer for them. If you're not subscribed to the Gatekeepers Alliance, go give them a sub. Each individual person, you'll get their intros as you see them, as they come through. These are some good old true Star Wars fans trying to keep real Star Wars alive for as long as possible.
You either want Disney Star Wars to fail, or you don't.
Sometimes people just need some space.
There are Lucas facts, and then there is cringe factor.
Explore the adherence to canon, continuity, and lore.
We have more fun ripping Disney Star Wars than the shills do enjoying it. And that triggers them.
Actually, I've decided to, I don't know, we'll see. While I'm smoking, I'm not going to be on camera. Until probably Flashcast and I get drunk and I just spark up a cigarette and don't care. All right, let's do the intro for Seal of the Week. We'll do the nominees and then we'll watch a video, shall we? Sound like a plan? Sounds like a plan.
Hello, the Jedi.
And Star Wars Marvel Purist is just putting a reminder that Star Triggered is on tomorrow on Mr. Grizzy's channel at 8:30 p.m. Central. I got invited, but see, that's the thing. Like 8:30 p.m. Central for you guys is like... So it's 11:20 p.m. Central now, and it's 2:20 p.m. on the following day. So what is it? We're Friday today, so it's Thursday night for those Central people still. So for me, that's like around when I start, like this stream. Or maybe a bit earlier. Right in the middle of my day of work. Right smack bang in the middle of it. It'll be like lunchtime, midday, something like that. But there's the link. to the Gatekeepers Alliance channel, but the stream is going to be on Mr. Grizzy's channel tomorrow. Hi, Dr. Coffinails. Good to see you. Let's actually bring up the seals, shall we? The seals. We did the intro and we didn't even bring them up. Okay, so this is just one that Mike Hill actually sent to me. I think we've had something similar to these before. Like here and now they pop up. It says, Rey is and will always be a Skywalker. It's true. Disney's canon. She will always be a Skywalker. In real Star Wars, she doesn't exist. So it's okay. Yeah, 12:20 a.m. So it's Friday morning for you. Just Friday morning. So there's your first nominee. Your second nominee is just Jacob. And he just posted. This was yesterday. He just posted this GIF. That's it. That's all it is. There isn't any more. The thing is with the throne room fight scene, it is I don't even think it's arguably. It's the worst lightsaber. I think it's worse than the fight that Rey and Kylo have on the Death Star. And despite how swing, stop, that fight is, this is just choreographed so horrible. It's designed to they thought that it was really amazing, but it doesn't rival anything. I still think it's one of the worst. So Jacob, you get the second nominee this week. And because we've only got 3 this week, the third nominee does go to Star Wars Explained this week, or Star Wars Explained. Sorry, Melvin. Where they just posted, obviously going live because they're building their little Grogu. Do you reckon they paid for that? Do you reckon they paid for that? Do you reckon they bought it? I mean, look, they could have bought it. Not everything gets sent to them. They would buy some stuff. But, building a baby Grogu in his little pod, that's very Seal-like to me, if you ask me. So there are your 3 nominees. Rey is and will always be a Skywalker. You've got the throne room scene from Jacob, and you've got Star Wars Explained, building a baby fucking Grogu Lego set. Let me put the poll in the chat. So we've only got 3 today. 1, 2, 3. The poll is up. Alrighty. So once again, 1 is Rey is and will always be a Skywalker. 2, Jacob posting a GIF of the throne room scene from The Last Jedi, and Star Wars Explained, building a Grogu Lego set. How lame. How very lame. All right. I can come back on camera. So, like I said, I'm still saving some of these because while Star Wars, there's not a lot of Star Wars news. We've only been going for an hour and 20 minutes. We're used to, Casual Rages going for 3 or 4 hours. I just got to find some more to talk about. Hopefully we can get a bit more into some Superman and Marvel and actually get into some of that stuff. Obviously we talked a little bit about Arnold. Just moving away from Star Wars, just being just Star Wars based, I think it's a mistake right now. No, especially this last 6 months. Nothing's happening. So, like I said, I've got a couple of these saved. Eventually, we might get to some of them. Some of them are really long, like the Empire of Dreams, it's 2.5 hours. We've got an hour there, basically an hour there, 2 hours there. There's some stuff there that we can actually watch. But for today, before we actually watch this video, It's like 7 days ago, 228,000 views. I'd love 228,000 views. How awesome would that be? The like-dislike ratio, I don't know, might seem a little off for the amount of views. But I actually want to go to his channel first and just look. Let's just go videos. Oh my God. So this is the video that we're going to watch. I haven't watched it all. I don't know why the line's all the way out. I literally I saw the thumbnail and it's happening. And I saw Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni in the thumbnail. And I'm like, he thinks that Dave Filoni's taking over as president, doesn't he? And Kathleen Kennedy's stepping down or being fired. And like, who knows? Like, maybe it could happen. Maybe it could happen. But I want to see how he talks about it. With everything that, you know, what, let's say in the last 2 years for Star Wars Theory that he's seen that Dave Filoni's come out with, that then he's talked about with people like Ryan and people like Mauler and stuff, and how much shit they've given to Dave Filoni while they've been on stream with him and asked him questions like, why? Why do you think that? Well, like, you know, actually gone into some depth in the conversation. It surprises me that he still feels the same way that he always has about Dave Filoni. That Filoni boner has literally gone nowhere. Literally gone nowhere. But I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't watched it. Rono, did you see that animated Predator film? No, I haven't. I've heard about it, and I haven't heard good things about it, but I haven't actually watched it. You know what I actually started watching? Because I got shamed on Flashcast. Started watching the Batman animated series because I'd seen episodes here and there when I was younger, but I never sort of watched it from beginning to end. And yeah, so I actually started watching it. I'm only, I think, 5 episodes in right now. So I've only watched the first couple. But it seems to me that it's sort of just establishing the characters. Like you almost get one villain or a couple of characters here and there introduced for the, you know, throughout the first couple of episodes. And then he released another video, just damn, which is 1 minute and 18 seconds. We might, again, it says that I've watched that. I don't recall clicking on that. And then this last one, 8 hours ago, Kathleen Kennedy does it again. People now trash Star Wars Episode 4. All right. So we're going to watch this one at least, 16 minutes. We might try and speed it up. What does he say in this one?
Damn. I didn't check my emails when I woke up, but Matt Walsh has to reschedule.
I heard about that. I don't care. I honestly think that that's a stupid debate. I really do. Matt Walsh is going to fucking try and tell you why Revenge of the Sith is shit. Okay, he can have his opinions on it. He's wrong. But yeah, I got no interest in watching that whatsoever. E. Clay Thomason gifts 5 Raging Rhino memberships. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. I really do. We've renamed the members. I hope that actually saved and went through. I need to actually check that. But that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for those 5 gifted memberships. Really appreciate it. Where are we? You know what? I'll give you Mozza Fighting just because it's funny and we haven't seen it for a while.
Oh, Mozza, read that. So Mozza, don't let the American bitch.
Did you just fart?
Yes, I did. Tell you what to do.
I think it's bedtime, Mozza.
Question mark. I think it's bedtime for Mozza. You pushed so far.
That's the type of videos that we watch on fucking Happy Hump Day.
I gotta pee. Oh my god.
Good times. Good times. Thank you, E. Clay Thomason. All right. Let's watch this video.
Fulfill your destiny. TheorySabers.com.
Okay, bit of interesting piece of news that Dave Filoni is going to be the guy that's going to take over Lucasfilm after Kathleen Kennedy steps down, which is probably any day now, most likely even in August.
Any day? Are the rumors really flying around that much? Like, guys, I must admit, if that's the truth, then I really haven't been paying attention. Any day now? Is that true? Has anybody heard any other reports than theory saying that Kathleen Kennedy could be or is stepping down any day now? Did he say is or could be?
After Kathleen Kennedy steps down, which is probably any day
Probably
now,
any day
most
now.
likely even in August. Let's go ahead and discuss some
August.
things, why it's bad, why it's good, play devil's advocate on both, and come to some sort of a consensus, at least on.
There's no good. There is no good coming from that. Hey, dude, let me just say, even if Dave Filoni stays where he is as Chief Creative Officer, which is already a bad thing if you've seen what's been coming out, but Chief Creative Officer and Kathleen Kennedy steps down and replaces it with someone else, dude, seriously, it's now time to let go. It's now time to let go, I think.
On my side here.
See through you. We can.
Veteran movie producer Kathleen Kennedy became president of Lucasfilm in 2012, who was put on the job by George Lucas. Now, she was put on pretty much last minute when George sold the company to Disney. He put her in charge, and Bob Iger didn't really know about it. He was just like, oh, okay. George trusted her to carry his company and carry his legacy, and he figured since he had worked with her for so many years that she would respect his story and have his best interest in mind and the fans' best interest in mind. Didn't. And so here we are. He was in the big chair during the Star Wars revival that kicked off in 2015 with The Force Awakens, the movie that went over really well, but follow-ups with The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, which were far more controversial. These articles, they really got to start telling the truth. You know, yes, it was controversial, but unanimously, I would say, it was not well received. There have also been ups and downs on the TV side of things, with The Mandalorian and Andor becoming hits, while Book of Boba Fett and The Acolyte quietly dying in embarrassment. Well, first of all, you can't even compare Book of Boba to Acolyte. They both were bad, but Book of Boba Fett at least was somewhat better. I can't even say that.
Whoa. Whoa. Hang on, let's let him finish his thought.
Both were bad, but Book of Boba Fett at least was somewhat better. I can't even say better. Fans have a lot of opinions of Kennedy, but she stuck it out for over a decade and made her mark. Sure did. According to The Hollywood Reporter, she's one of several high-profile executives expected to step down in the near future, but who replaces her? Now, we've had a lot of different ideas of who could be stepping in. None of them were really all that promising. They were all just kind of like, soon I will have a new apprentice, one far younger and more powerful.
Oh, so funny.
HR, the current hope is to replace Kennedy with two people who would act as co-heads. Carrie Beck, who also joined Lucasfilm in 2012, and Dave Filoni. It's unfortunate Lynn Hale stepped down. She was a really fantastic woman, and she really worked hard with George. I had the privilege of speaking with her once when Pablo Hidalgo did his thing and tried to have a little fun at my expense. She actually emailed me, and she wanted to check up on me and see if I'm all right. And I was very respectful, and I thanked her for all of her work with George. And then she retired. That was the only kind of communication I ever had with her. Dave really started to make his mark on the animated series of Star Wars The Clone Wars, which began in 2008. He continued with Star Wars Rebels and has worked on shows with the Mando and Ahsoka. He also has a big hand in Mando and Grogu, which is currently on track to come out.
Dude, he's had his finger in every single pie that they've come out with. Acolyte. Fucking, no doubt he looked over Andor. Oh, but that's a good thing, because Andor was so fucking good. Man, he's the fact that people still think that the changing of the title on the website was a promotion from the original promotion. They just changed the name. It was the same position. People are so dumb like that.
Out in theaters on May 22nd, 2026. If it hits that target, it'll be the first Star Wars movie to drop in 6 years. This isn't an absolute sure thing.
These are the same people that think that if a movie costs $150 million to make and it makes $150 million at the box office, it breaks even. They're the same people that think like that.
as there can always be surprises in a corporate succession, there are concerns with Filoni and Beck. And, I would say I was one of the biggest Dave Filoni fans. And part of me still
part of me still
is because of his work on the Clone Wars and some of the other projects he's done, like Tales of the Jedi. But a big part of me now.
This is the thing that I don't understand with Star Wars theory is that people have spoken to him and told him what their problems are with things like the Clone Wars. Ryan's talked about it, right, with him in depth. And any, like, I hate having to admit this, but I was a Clone Wars fan too. And then after speaking with Ryan, and not only, like, it's not like when I say speaking with Ryan, I talked to him here and there, and there were little conversations in the early days of his channel and the early days of my channel. He was doing a lot more with Lethal Lightning as well, who I obviously had a connection with and grew a friendship with. And I had conversations with him as well, who wasn't a fan of Dave Filoni or the Clone Wars. And when they told me those things, it opened my mind to the concept or the idea that, hey, maybe these things aren't necessarily as good as what I thought they were. I wasn't necessarily looking at it like that, and I didn't have the information to make that assessment or make that judgment. Or I did, it was clouded. It was clouded by the Star Wars goggles. I had the Star Wars goggles on. This is Star Wars. I got to love it. Star Wars. How can I not love Star Wars? Almost like that. But this is the thing. He's had similar, if not maybe even more conversations with somebody like Ryan about the Clone Wars than I have. And yet none of that even moves the needle in regards to changing his mind about Dave Filoni or even the Clone Wars. Now, I'm not going to say that every single thing in the Clone Wars is bad. There's some decent stuff in there, just like there is in Rebels. Rebels is horrible, like a disaster. But there's some decent stuff in there. Hey, I said the same thing about the Bad Batch. Couple of decent episodes in there, but surrounded by garbage, and the rest of it's shit, and the lore, canon, and continuity of everything is pretty much a jumbled mess anyway. But there was a little slice of potential in there. And I'd say the same thing probably about Andor. There's a slither of potential in there. What they did and the way that they did it, there's some okay stuff. But then, like, you pile on, like, there's this situation, there's this problem, there's this issue, this doesn't make sense. They've got these jangling keys in there for no reason, but they're there. When you start looking and start actually analyzing it, the way that we've been analyzing Star Wars, let's say, especially since, like, the sequel trilogy. And this is where I make the argument that Disney, you've done this to the fan base. You've made the fan base look at everything meticulously with a fine-tooth comb. You know why? You know where the change came? Because, like, when we used to watch Star Wars, if, let's say, we wanted to know more about something or someone or whatever, if we started asking questions, the answers would be there. And the answers would actually make sense. And the answers would actually be, there would be some continuity to the answers. Maybe even some lore that actually comes out from those answers. And it builds your understanding of that thing or that character or whatever. But back when George was doing it, we could ask one question and get an answer. We could ask multiple questions and get an answer. Now, when you do it with Disney Star Wars, all it takes is literally one question, and the answer is either word gobbledygook, someone's headcanon, or there's no answer. There's just no answer. And that's where it falls down. And Dave Filoni is the person that is supposed to be in charge of making sure that those answers are there.
Now he's not. Just with his overall way of dealing with all of these shows that have just gone to shit.
You're going down a path I can't follow.
Book of Boba Fett.
Hang on. Is he saying that he had no involvement in those? I got to go back for a second.
But a big part of me now is not, just with his overall way of dealing with all of these shows that have just gone to shit.
You're going down a path I can't follow.
Book of Boba Fett, Mando season 3. I don't know how he allowed the
I don't know why we make the distinction of Mando season 3. Like Mando season 1 and 2 are some masterpiece over the garbage that we got out of Mando season 3. Go back and don't even go back and watch them. It's not worth it. But like, even just think back to season 1. What did we get out of season 1? What was season 1 all about? What was season 1 about? Babysitters in space? That's the closest thing. That's it. What was season 2 about? What was the entire story of season 2? Him what? Taking a bath so that he can put his helmet back on and become a part of the creed again. Making Grogu a part of his creed. To have cameos and Luke Skywalker moments that mean nothing, that have no meaning. What makes you give the distinction that Mandalorian season 3, and it's always the same, Mando season 3, Mando season 3, Mando season 1 and 2 are fucking trash. You know, it's funny that they released the episode of Grogu Force Healing Grief Karga the week before they release Rise of Skywalker, the moment that they give Rey the ability to force heal. You know, so that you can't criticize the female in the movie, because if you do, that does make you sexist because Grogu's a male and he, you know, you had nothing to say against that. Well, I did. So I'm completely clear on the sexist side of shit.
To even be a thing.
Are you blind? Just look at it.
And a lot of people say, oh, it was before his time. Listen, they were making it while he was still in his position. He could have easily been like, no, we're not doing this. No, we're not bringing Ki-Adi back. Or we're not putting him in the story when he's not supposed to be around. We're not putting...
Well, there's so many things, dude. Like, what, so you're saying that Dave Filoni would give him credit for Mando season 1 and 2? Yep. I agree with you. We should give him credit for Mando season 1 and 2. We give him credit for how bad season 1 and 2 actually are, and how like removed and how disloyal to George Lucas season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian are, just like everything else.
Putting Plagueis in, we're not putting Yoda in. There needs to be more no's. No, we're not doing that.
No way. No way.
Not, okay, we'll put Yoda in at the very end, you know, just to allude to things to make you happy, Leslie. No, it's a no.
What about, like, this is the thing. You don't think that Dave Filoni like looked over Obi-Wan Kenobi? Didn't Star Wars Theory cry or get really emotional when Qui-Gon showed up at the end of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show? You know that him actually appearing is law-breaking, right? You should know that as this massive Star Wars fan. You should know that. And as a self-proclaimed what's it called? Clone Wars fan, where that is actually like where that piece of like actual established law really comes into play, other than if you go through the books. The books, when Yoda's at the end of Revenge of the Sith, when Yoda's talking to Qui-Gon, you know, he asks, "Can you appear to me?" And he says no. Didn't complete the training, right? But in the Clone Wars animated show, Dave Filoni's Clone Wars, it is also reiterated in the little mission that Yoda goes on. And he asks Qui-Gon that exact same question. Which is kind of stupid, being that means he asks him that twice. Really. Unless the Revenge of the Sith novel isn't canon. Is the Revenge of the Sith novel a part of the EU, or is it more so a part of the movies? And then if so, it's pretty stupid. I've just realized it's pretty stupid that Yoda asks Qui-Gon in the Clone Wars whether or not he can appear to him, and Qui-Gon explains. And then he also asks him again after the fall of the Jedi, after Order 66 and all that shit goes down. And he basically answers the same question again.
Once the second started bringing in characters from the Clone Wars like Ahsoka Tano, I started to lose interest. As the insider put it, he's not the Andor guy, he's the Ahsoka guy. He's not the Andor guy, he's the Ahsoka guy.
Yeah, not Tony Gilroy.
One
That's
is more so.
Dave Filoni.
One doesn't have the Force at all.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What,
One doesn't have the Force at all.
What are you talking about? You missed the whole point of that. The insider's saying that the person who's leading the race to take that position, it's not the Andor guy, it's the Ahsoka guy. So it's not Tony Gilroy. Everybody's been out there saying Tony Gilroy should run Lucasfilm. I've been hearing those rumors out there. That's so dumb. That is simple theory. That is simple theory.
Ahsoka guy.
Hang on, let's
the
go
second
back.
started bringing in characters from the Clone Wars like Ahsoka Tano, I started to lose interest. As the insider put it, he's not the Andor guy, he's the Ahsoka guy. He's not the Andor guy, he's the Ahsoka guy. Well, yeah, one is more so. One doesn't have the Force at all.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
One doesn't have the Force at all. One is all exposition, talking, building a story about non-important characters that will form something that's very, very important, which is the rebellion. So I guess you could say they're important, but not really in terms of the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy or anything like that. Whereas Ahsoka spans throughout both. Still, I feel like Filoni has earned a chance to be the man in charge of Star Wars. Alongside Beck, Disney CEO Bob Iger is also expected to step... Oh shit, I didn't know that. Again, he already left in 2020, picking Bob Chapek to replace him. Then Chapek did a terrible job, and Iger returned to the head role in 2022. The redo is coming. Executives queue up to replace Iger include Parks head Josh D'Amaro, ESPN exec Jimmy Pitaro, and entertainment executives Dana Walden and Alan Bergman. There's a transfer of authority happening in many industries across the country, not just in Hollywood. Last year, 2,221 CEOs stepped down, the highest amount since 2002. What will the next generation do with power once they have it? Strap in. This article was originally published on winteriscoming.net as Dave Filoni next in line to replace Kathleen Kennedy as Star Wars franchise head. I mean, geez, what do I think of this?
So this is why I prefer like a Ryan video. He does like a 5 to 8 minute video and he'll just pluck out the points. Whereas Theory's done a 16-minute video and he's just reading the whole sort of article. Now, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just two different ways of doing it. But man, didn't need all that other bullshit information. Just need
Dave Filoni.
We need to dot point this shit.
You know, it's tough because the stupid decisions that he made. You know, Tales of the Empire, Book of Boba Fett, Mando.
Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Underworld, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Here we go. He's going to say Mando Season 3. Ready?
Empire, Book of Boba Fett, Mando Season 3, Acolyte, which he was still somewhat part of, and Leslie Headland was always using him as a scapegoat.
Yep.
Oh, well, Dave Filoni signed off on it. Oh, yeah. Great.
Andor. Fucking
and
everything.
All the other projects that I like thrown out of my head. Kenobi. I mean, how do you get to a point where you have the most important characters that you give it $90 million and then you give Andor, $200-300 million a season, 2 seasons of it? Bonkers. Doesn't make sense. So, and the ending of Ahsoka season 1, I thought the last few episodes were just not good at all. Like, you build us up to a decent...
The last few episodes. All the Anakin stuff, great.
Place. And then you just drop the ball and make it boring. Part of me wants to believe that a lot of his decisions that he wanted to do would have been really amazing decisions. But Kathleen Kennedy was saying, no, all of this crap, because she felt she knew best or she wanted something different. The other part of me says...
the funny thing is you put that little clip in there of the guy rolling his eyes. Everybody, when you said that, rolled their eyes exactly like that at you. Kathleen Kennedy's meddling in Dave Filoni's decisions. It's affecting his ability to make good Star Wars.
Okay, no, this is now Dave Filoni. This is how he operates, and he's been given all of this power to kind of do what he wants. And he's just kind of like a people pleaser. Like, he's just making all these people that are hired by Kathleen happy by saying yes, so people will like him. Something. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I have no idea what his stance is. And
he's right on board with the retarded narrative.
I felt like he was quite in line. Like, he was very all about George Lucas Star Wars. He was very all about the lore and really, really cared about what would George do. Whereas now I feel like he's kind of taking...
Are you kidding me? Dave Filoni has come out and blatantly admitted that he kept things from George and then put them in after he approved what George actually saw. He's admitted to that while he was working for George Lucas. There's never been any loyalty ever from this man.
It and turned it into his own thing and isn't really too concerned with what George would think anymore. More so just focused on how he would operate the story, how he would carry the story, what he would do with these new characters, these new Disney characters like Sabine. You know, so in my opinion, I don't really know where I stand with Dave Filoni because it's like we've gotten some really great projects from him. We've gotten some really
Name
not
one.
great projects from
I'd
him.
love him to name one. He'd start with Mandalorian season 1 and 2. Then what? Tales of the Jedi. Oh, because it had Ahsoka. Then what? I don't know if you watched Tales of the Underworld. I don't know what his thoughts were on that. Then what? Everything else that you've mentioned that he's been involved with is shit. Fucking shit.
Pain, suffering.
And so I'm wondering if it was just Palpatine in the corner the whole time controlling his hand and that being Kathleen Kennedy, or if these are actually his decisions.
I believe you are the only Jedi with no knowledge of this plot. When the Jedi learn what has transpired here, they will kill us.
A lot of people will say it was Kathleen.
I
a lot
agree,
of people will say it
Gary.
was him, and he has just lost the mark. Now that George is not there to control, he's just free reign, doing what he wants. At the end of the day, I think if we were to have someone take over Lucasfilm, it wouldn't just be one person. George Lucas was a genius, and he knew Star Wars, of course, better than anybody. I believe if we're going to have someone lead Lucasfilm the way George would have done, we're going to need several people. As much as I'm not really a fan of Tony Gilroy, he did do a good job with those last 5 or 6 episodes of Andor Season 2. They were quite phenomenal. I have to give credit where credit's due. Maybe I didn't feel too happy with the first few episodes or whatever, but those final ones were actually really well done in terms of exposition and story and whatever. This is not an Andor review, but they were good. So I feel like he has at least something, and he knows how to write a script or direct. And then if you have, the lore masters around him to kind of make sure that he stays within the confines of George and what he would have wanted, then great. Lucasfilm Story Group, in my opinion, I think they need to be wiped. I think we need a new Lucasfilm Story Group because
Including
most of the
Dave
people in
Filoni.
Lucasfilm Story Group today are just...
I think entirety of Lucasfilm. It's not just the story group, and it's not just Kathleen Kennedy. And dude, to even consider that these things are going to happen is like, it's beyond a joke now. Disney Star Wars killed any momentum for Star Wars moving forward and actually growing as a franchise. It is on a decline. It is dying. Disney killed it. Kathleen Kennedy killed it. Dave Filoni killed it. Pablo Hidalgo killed it. And everybody else there at Lucasfilm killed it. The only thing that now is keeping Star Wars alive is basically the original Star Wars fans. The Star Wars fans that would love Star Wars up until the point of George selling it. And then people want to make the argument, oh, TCW was before that. Well, yeah. I think based on some of the things that have come out from Dave Filoni, I think we can safely say that George really didn't have a lot to do with a lot of that. Yeah, he might have signed off on it, but he was being played just like Kathleen Kennedy played him by Dave Filoni.
Just Disney hires. When Disney came in, and I had a few emails from some old school Lucasfilm guys.
Learn to let go. Take Yoda's advice, dude. Let go of the fact that Star Wars is ever going to be good ever again for what we see on the screen. Ever. They might sow some seeds of some decent writing here and there. It's maybe a decent character moment here or there. Might make you feel something here or there. And those moments will make you think back and go, remember when all of Star Wars used to give me that feeling? Remember when it wasn't just a little slight moment that I saw that made me think, remember when we had it good? That's what all those moments do now.
They said most of the people at Lucasfilm that were working there all through with George were fired. They were let go on the spot. They had to pack up their desks. Years of working, decades of working at Lucasfilm, like that, gone.
Oh, they did that with all the books and everything. All the people, right, that learnt the law and understood the law and were able to write books that sewed in stories from other stories and other people's books. And amazing, incredible. It's an incredible achievement. And it's not to say that it was entirely perfect, but when you've got over 150 odd books or something like that, and you're sewing these stories in with each other, I think that they did a pretty amazing fucking job to be able to do something like that. Now they try and sew things into each other, and guess what it's for? It's so that the fucking SEALs can clap their way through these shows without asking any fucking questions. I saw it. He was red. He said the thing. He vaded. Oh my God, look, it's a holocron. Oh my God, look, he said the thing. Oh my God, we weren't expecting to see Cad Bane. That's all those things are. No depth, no story, no anything. Hollow garbage. You know what Star Wars has become? Star Wars has become what all the other movies and stuff that came out around the time that Star Wars came out, that tried to do the like sci-fi thing, that just completely failed because it didn't have that magic. It didn't have the story, you know. Disney Star Wars has become like almost a parody, right, of what Star Wars was. It's become just another generic sci-fi failure, like everything else that tried to follow in the footsteps of Star Wars when it first came out in 1977.
Replace them were all Disney people from Disney.
Built this shit brick by brick.
They weren't Star Wars people.
You know what? I saw a video the other day, and they were actually talking about The Last Starfighter. And the people that actually made The Last Starfighter and did like digital ships, they were actually originally employed by Lucasfilm to make digital ships. Or no, I don't think they were employed. I think they came up with the idea and they did it. And they pitched this idea to George Lucas. And George didn't want to have these digital looking fake kind of ships. So he went a different way. And then because he thought that having those in a movie wouldn't be successful. And then the guys did The Last Starfighter with that technology that they made that was actually supposed to maybe be for Star Wars. Thought it was interesting. I didn't know that. If maybe people in the chat already knew that, but I didn't actually know that.
People? Sure, they may have watched Star Wars, may have liked Star Wars, but they weren't working there in trenches with George.
You know why I have money and you don't have money? Okay. It's because instead of spending my time doing autographs, I spend my time making movies.
Right? It's one thing to like Star Wars, and it's another thing to really understand it and have grown up with it. And
it's interesting that you say that. And then some of the things that I've heard you say show that, I don't know, man. Your lack of understanding sometimes boggles the mind.
It's more than just some sort of the science fiction movie. Oh, yeah, Darth Vader, right? Oh, it's more than that. If you're to have someone take over Lucasfilm and run it the way George would kind of foresee things, this would be my list. Tony Gilroy. I can't believe I'm saying that shit, but look, it was good. Dave Filoni, because at the end of the day, regardless how we feel about Dave, he is the closest guy to George Lucas.
No, that you say that because what? He worked for George? Because you think he's got this ultimate understanding of the law? Dude, the evidence that you just laid out in your video is clear why he shouldn't even be in the position that he's in right now. What are you talking about? This is where I don't understand, like, some people's thought processes. He basically, throughout this video, laid out all the evidence of why Dave Filoni shouldn't be the president of Lucasfilm, shouldn't be in charge of Star Wars, shouldn't even be in the chief creative officer position that he's actually in. You just laid it out on the table. And then you said, my number 2 pick for running Lucasfilm is Dave Filoni. Because despite what we say, he's the closest to George Lucas. Despite the fact that I just said that he fucked this up, and 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 he fucked this up, he's still the closest person to do it right. That's basically what you just said. It's just...
In terms of having learned from him, but we just need to keep him in line. Jon Favreau, because I think Jon is just a...
So make it... We're going to keep Dave Filoni in line. So the best thing to do is put nobody above him, right? How...
Kid at the end of the day who is enamored with the original trilogy. Every time he touches something Star Wars, it just feels like this dude is just a kid who loves the first 3 films that ever came out, and he's just throwing what he can at the board with that in mind and building a story through that.
There's no story being built through that. I would love to hear your synopsis of what the story and the plot of Mandalorian season 1, 2, and 3 are.
And for that, I see the passion, I see the fun, and I see that childish magic that he puts into the stuff. Except for Mando season 3, which was complete, and I think that was because of Kathleen Kennedy, but I'm not sure. The next person we would need is Sam Witwer.
And I'm sick of the blame game. Mando season 3 was shit because of Kathleen Kennedy. She meddled in John and Dave. How dare she? She's got to go. She's got to go. It'll all be better if she just fucking goes.
Knows a lot about the lore. Beyond that, I would have Stuart Beattie, who, my God, if you guys read his magnificent script for Kenobi, I mean, holy shit. And beyond that, I mean, I'm sure there's a couple more people.
You know, there's an amazing script out there already been written for Kenobi. It's called the Kenobi novel.
That we could add to it. But I think the main 3 that I could see would be Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and Sam Witwer. Sam Witwer to kind of corral everything, Dave for the creative, and Jon for the pure creative, and just having fun with it. I think those 3 guys would keep things in line pretty well. And then you put Tony Gilroy in the mix to give a real comprehensive writing and exposition and pacing and all that stuff for the projects that the boys do want to make.
I thought you hated I thought you thought it was boring. You tapped out because the pacing was so boring. Bring him in to, you know, make sure that the writing and the pacing. I can't stand these people that it is literally word salad. You are Kamala Harris of Star Wars. There's every nearly statement that he says is an oxymoron. It doesn't make any fucking sense from the previous statement that he just made.
That would be okay. Now, I am only saying this because I am under the impression that Kathleen Kennedy is forcing Dave's hand to make these stupid decisions
Civil War.
when it comes to the films and shows and all that stuff that we've seen.
Impossible to see.
This is why I don't want. I'm literally like, I'm squirming. It's it's so retarded.
And nobody will know unless they're actually working there. If it is indeed Dave that's mucking these up on his own accord, then I don't know,
Then
dude. He's a mixed bag. You know, some of his
Then
stuff
what?
is great.
Oh, it's a mixed bag, so it's okay. We'll still put him in charge. What is with you? Get your hand off your dick when you're talking about Dave. How about that? You just let go. You just let go.
Just you're questioning, like, this was George's apprentice? What's going on? I used to be huge Dave Filoni diehard. There's been a few questionables, and now I have to reassess my opinion of him. And naturally, I can't just be a blinded fan. No, he's the best. No, he's done some questionable things.
You are. He's done some questionable things, but he's still my second pick for president of Lucasfilm. But that's because the current president of Lucasfilm is the one that has made him do those questionable things.
So if he were to come on board, you know, it'd be unfortunate because we would have to see a pattern. You know, what is he like now that he has full power, that he has full autonomy, that he has full control? He doesn't have Kathleen nagging in his ear, if she ever was, telling him what to do and what not to do. So it's a bit of a dilemma.
I'm glad that he throws in the if she ever was, but it's like, this is the narrative. He believes that there has been Kathleen Kennedy meddling, Civil War crap. Again, this is just, it's recycling a video from 2, 3, 4 years ago. That just, it seems that, like, I'm saying 2, 3, and 4 years ago, not or. It's like 4 years ago, this was the story. 3 years ago, this was the story. 2 years ago, this was the story.
I personally think that he can do a lot of good if he just sticks a little more to what George would have done. And I feel like ever since that he's come on board, he's become a little too free reign. George would not have done some of the decisions that you would have made. I don't think so.
He wouldn't have done any of it.
It didn't land, and it's inconsistent, and I don't know why. Because some of his stuff is great, and some is just, is this a different person? You know, are there just too many heads fighting each other? That's my thoughts on Dave Filoni. So I'm still unsure. I like him because of his past
There's
stuff.
too many heads fighting each other, but your solution is to bring maybe 3 or 4 presidents in, and just all those 4 people control it. You know, have Dave for the creative, have Jon Favreau for the ultra creative. I think that's the terminology that he used, and have Sam Witwer for the law and stuff like that. That's what he said, right? Too many heads. Like, again, the contradictions in this video, dude, maybe you should just at least write out as dot points, like what you want to actually say and then the reasoning behind it. And then just see if you can be consistent in yourself. God damn.
And some of his stuff. But then I question his motive and his decision making with a lot of other things. I don't know what you guys think. I know it's a mixed bag. Right? A lot of the subs here really dislike him. A lot of the subs here find him to be the only.
I'm not. We're not watching anymore. Fucking hell! What a joke! What a fucking joke! I just want to watch a little bit of this one, but before we do, we're going to close off the poll. We're going to finish off Seal of the Week here. So, let's bring up the nominees. And let's see how the poll did. How'd you guys do in the chat there? Did you vote? Did you get your votes in? Let me quickly go through. Number 1, Rey is and will always be a Skywalker. You got Jacob with his little gif of the throne room scene because he loves the Last Jedi so much. And then you got Star Wars Explained doing a Grogu build party. Let's see. All right, we got 28 votes. That's pretty good. Can we get 2 more? Can we get to the 30? Are there any lurkers out there? We got 29. Get your votes in. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. We just need 1 more. I think it's a landslide. There's a victory no matter what happens. But, you know, it's always nice. Nice round figure. I don't even care what you come in and click. I don't even care if you know who the nominees are. See, I always do that, and then we'll be waiting here, sitting here for half an hour, waiting for that one last vote. I'll give it a minute. There it is. There it is. Oh, we got 31. Beautiful. We're going to end the poll there. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. All right. So, where's the results? Where are the results? There they are. All right. So, in last place, with 19% of the vote, was Jacob. I guess he didn't really say anything, did he? It was just the gif. He loves The Last Jedi. But he got 19%. Followed very closely by the runner-up with 22% of the vote was number 3, Star Wars Explained. And, of course, the winner of this week's Seal of the Week with a whopping 58% of the vote was, I don't even know how to, Rise Blue Sun. When I first saw it, I just read it as one, like, I'm like, that's fucking stupid. From Rise Blue Sun, hello there. We're saying breaking, Rey is and will always be a Skywalker. Congratulations, Rise Blue Sun. You are this week's Seal of the Week. All right, let's. Oh, wrong one. I just because this, I don't know. It just might be a bit of a follow up. I'm not 100% certain. Maybe it's come out and Kathleen Kennedy's not stepping down. Oh, but hang on. People now trash Star Wars Episode 4. Let's just a quick.
TheorySabers.com. Episode 4 has just been released, and a lot of people are actually crapping on it.
Scrap pile.
And what I mean by that is the original, very first issue of Episode 4 from 1977, The Star Wars, has resurfaced.
Oh.
I was actually speaking to someone from...
Okay, I heard about this. We're not going through this. Apparently, Kathleen Kennedy being at this film festival thing made it okay. And once again, just being disloyal to George Lucas. If George Lucas never wanted anybody to see that version again, it doesn't matter whether or not Kathleen Kennedy is there or not. They shouldn't be playing it. That's being loyal to George Lucas. What they are doing is being disloyal to George Lucas. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to see that original copy. Love it. But it's not that's not the wishes of the creator, of the person that, you know, wanted that out there. It's just disrespectful. And that's all that Disney, Star Wars, and Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni and everybody there has ever been, is disrespectful to George. But that's it. We're all done for today. We went 2 hours, which is nice. Next week, man, we're going to be so close now to Superman. I'm sure that there'll be some Superman stuff to talk about next week. We'll see what comes out through the week. You know, even just, you know, talking about some general topics like we did with the shopping center thing today, and even the Arnold Schwarzenegger on The View. So, yeah, we'll find some stuff and we'll keep this casual rage party going. Doesn't all have to be Star Wars. There's talk about Star Wars stuff that comes out each week, though. Don't worry. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Blue-Eyed Scorpio, I see you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thanks to all the members. Thank you, E. Clay, for the gifted memberships, SWA, for the member chat. And yeah, raid the Jack Show. I don't know how to actually raid, like, from... I don't know, because I don't even think I've got it set up. No, that's not where you go. I'd have to... I don't know. Anyway, go click the link, hit the link that was dropped by Soul Assassin there, and go and give the Jack Show a raid, give him a Rhino raid. But thanks again, everybody, for being here. Yeah, do a manual raid. That's right. Unless you're telling me to do a manual raid, in which case I don't even know how to do that. Pluck you guys out of my chat and insert you over there. No, just click on the link and you'll be there. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next week for another Casual Rage. You'll see us over the weekend on Flash's channel for Flashcast as well. Take care, guys. I better be ready for my shit. All right, peace.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
You'd better put a chick in it. And make it fucking gay as fuck.
Going somewhere?
And I want it lame!
Put her on a path of her own choosing, so that no matter which direction she takes, we'll always be one step ahead of her.
What?
That is so lame!
think I remember seeing the movie. There's one scene that sticks out, and it probably sticks out for everybody, which is that, have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?